and welcome to First Baptist Church, Watauga.
And this is your first look at this week's announcements. If you have your worship folders with you, you can follow along as we go over some of these announcements this morning. What do we have first up, Zach?
Well, the first thing I'd like to draw your attention to is First Sunday Worship Choir. That will be coming up a week from today, next Sunday, February 4th. If you're someone that's sang in the choir before, we'd love to have you join us again next week. And if you've never sung and you'd like to sing in the choir with us to help us out in our worship service, just talk to me today and make sure you show up for practice next Sunday at 8:45, and we'll practice and get ready for our morning worship service together.
This year in 2018, we want to go after the ones. The ones are those in our families, in our community, those we work with that don't know the Lord. And so we want to be intentional in our evangelism efforts this year. And so on February 11th, we are going to have a night where we're going to kind of lay this strategy for evangelism out for you here at the church. That's at 6 p.m. Sunday night, February 11th. We are encouraging you to be a part of this. Evangelism is something that God has called each and every one of us to as believers. And so please come on February 11th at 6 p.m. to find out how we as First Baptist Watauga are going to go after the ones. Childcare will be provided.
Coming up on Sunday, February 18th is Undie Sunday. As you know, every year we do a collection for our Watauga Elementary School. We need children's size underwear from 4 to 14. If you could get those in the next couple of weeks and then bring those back to the church and put them in our collection box, we'd greatly appreciate it as we help support our school system. So, Undie Sunday, February 18th.
There are a couple of opportunities that I want to point out to you today. If you are a lady here at First Baptist Watauga, then every Thursday you are invited to join other women up here at 9 a.m. until noon for quilting, embroidering, knitting, and crocheting. So if you'd like to be a part of that, that's Thursdays 9 a.m. to noon, and there's usually some refreshments. Now, if you are a man, every first Saturday at 8 a.m. we have a men's prayer breakfast, and we would encourage you to come and join us to share in breakfast, but also to spend some time in prayer with other men here at the church. We actually have one coming up this Saturday, so we are encouraging you to sign up in the main hallway so we can get a head count for breakfast this coming Saturday for our first Saturday men's prayer breakfast.
Well, a week from this Sunday is our chili cook-off. Of course, there's a big game going on that night. We'll watch that together as well. But most importantly, the chili cook-off this year is going to be a way that we can support our World Changers mission trip. A couple of ways you can do that. One, we need you to enter in some chili to the contest, which is only $5 per entry. And also, if you come out to eat, we're going to charge $5 a person with a $20 maximum for your family. So if you have more than 4, then just $20 is all you pay. And all that money, all the proceeds, everything we raise that night will help go towards our World Changers mission trip. So anyway, if you want to give more and just in the spirit of giving for the trip, then we gladly will accept any amount of donation that evening if you're feeling so led to give towards that trip. If you're interested in signing up and entering your chili, you can do that in the main hallway. We do have trophies for the best chili and the best spicy chili. So we have 2 categories there. You can enter each one or the other, both, however you want to do that. Just get signed up and we'll get you taken care of. So, a great way to support our World Changers trip. Make sure and be here for our chili cook-off.
Finally, this morning, I wanted to draw your attention to the Faith Challenge cards. Now, Brother Dennis has already been talking about the Faith Challenge cards on Facebook in a video. We also showed that video last Sunday morning in the worship service, and he talked a little bit about it at the end of the worship service last week as well. And today is the first day that we are going to be collecting these cards as God has laid on your heart or your family's heart what you are going to sacrificially give towards the Moving Forward campaign as we seek to renovate the church offices into a safe and secure nursery area and move those church offices to the current nursery area. We're asking that everybody would be a part of this, whether God is calling you to sacrifice a little or whether God is calling you to sacrifice a lot. We believe that God desires for us to sacrifice as a church and that He wants to do something in each of our hearts as we sacrifice together. So you'll notice that there is a dotted line down these cards. All right, so our desire would be that you would take this card home. Maybe you've already done that. That you would cut this card in half. You would keep one of these cards for yourself as a reminder of what God has called you to give, you would return the other half to us. Now, we are not asking for you to put your name because we believe that this is a commitment between you, your family, and the Lord. But this will help us kind of gauge where we are as a church as we seek to move forward together. So at the end of the service today, if God has already laid this on your heart, if you've already cut this card in half, you know how much He is calling you to sacrifice. At the end of the service today, we're going to be passing the offering plate, and you'll be able to lay that card in that offering plate to give us some feedback of what God is calling you to sacrifice. Now, next week we will also be collecting these cards again, and so maybe you haven't prayed about this yet. You haven't had time to seek the Lord. You need a little bit more time. Take this week to take this card home, to pray about what God would have you sacrifice, and bring that card back next week so that we can collect them again. All right, so be in prayer for moving forward as we seek to move forward as a church family with the Lord. Now, we want to move forward this morning in worship. So why don't we stand together and do that right now?